She spent years teaching students the power of words. Now she's teaching them how to save lives. Our Logan Riggenbaugh joins us live in the studio with Gwynette Mayer's story. Good evening, Logan.
Thank you, Phyllis. For this week's This Is Home feature, we talked to the woman who traded her red pen for a fire hose. She says her goal is to help prepare the next generation of firefighters.
This Is Home, sponsored by A1 Heating and Cooling and TB Dentistry.
For most people, a career change means a new office or a different commute. For Gwynette Mayer, it meant running into burning buildings.
Basically, it was just a desire to help people. Once I got in EMS, I then, with the VOLA, I then took a fire class and fell in love with it as well. Even though I had said I wasn't going to do that, I did.
Mayer spent years as an English teacher at Marietta High School, but a pull towards service led her to the DeVola Volunteer Fire Company, where she trained as an EMT, then an advanced EMT, and eventually became assistant chief of EMS. She says her family never let her forget one promise she broke along the way.
I told my parents that I wasn't going to go into a burning building because I wasn't planning to, and then, like I said, I kind of fell in love with that side of it as well, and so they never let me live that down.
Balancing a full-time teaching job with volunteer EMS work wasn't easy, but Mayer says she eventually realized her two passions didn't have to stay separate. She started teaching EMT and fire classes at Marietta High School and watched something remarkable happen. Students started saving lives.
One student was playing video games with a buddy online. The buddy's family member went unresponsive, and my student talked him through CPR over the phone. I had another student, we were going over CPR in class and how to deal with an infant choking, and I reviewed it with them on a Friday before a long weekend because I just felt like we needed to do that. And then we came back from the long weekend, and she said, "Hey, I saved my friend's 7-month-old baby."
Those moments convinced Mayer she was exactly where she needed to be. Last year, she brought the program to the Washington County Career Center, where she now draws students from 6 different schools across the county. The goal, help fill a growing shortage of volunteer EMS and fire personnel in the Mid-Ohio Valley.
And the same people having to go over and over again leads to burnout, and most departments are experiencing that. So we just need more people.
Inside her classroom and out in the field, students are learning search and rescue, forcible entry, vehicle extraction, and emergency medical care. Her students say her style sets her apart.
She not only reads off the slides, but also shows us and does it with us. So I like it a lot better because she leads by example a lot of the time.
I mean, she's a good teacher. Everything we do, I mean, it's a learning experience.
And she's always there and always willing to help and stuff, so it's definitely different every day. You never know what you're going to get into.
For Mayer, the reward isn't a paycheck or a title. It's knowing her students leave ready and that some of them will stay right here to serve the community she loves.
The greatest reward is just seeing the difference that you made in somebody's life, and knowing that some of my students have gotten to experience that as well is very fulfilling, because I get the feeling that they had, and that's why we do what we do.
From grading essays to gearing up, Gwynette Mayer found her calling, and in Washington County, that calling is answering others. Mayer says students who complete the program at the Career Center can graduate with both their Fire 1 and 2 certifications and their EMT certification, giving them a significant head start on a career in emergency services.